Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope everyone is doing great. Today we are going to read another poem of your metric class, which is Beautiful Hands, written by Ellen M. H. Gates. So let's get started. Here is the list of the chapters of your metric class, and the Beautiful Hands poem is on page number 36. Before we move on to the poem itself, it is very much important to discuss its poetess. So, the Beautiful Hands poem was written by Ellen M. H. Gates. Her full name was Ellen Maria Huntington Gates. She was born in Torrington, Connecticut, USA in 1835. She wrote religious songs, means hymns like The Home of the Soul and The Eternity for well-known magazines. Her collection of poems were published in 1897 and 1910. Now let's move on to the poem. Such beautiful, beautiful hands. They are neither white nor small, and you, I know, would scarcely think that they were fair at all. Basically, in these lines, poetess praises her mother's hands for their spiritual beauty. She is of the view that though these hands are neither fair nor small, and one would hardly think that they were beautiful ones. They used to be beautiful, they used to be charming once in her lifetime. I have looked on hands whose form and hue a sculptor's dream might be, yet are these aged wrinkled hands most beautiful to me. In these lines, in these these lines, poetess is of the view. Poetess says that she had seen the form and color. Form and hue means shape and color, and these I have seen the shape and color of these hands, and these hands were like a dream of an artist who makes statues. These hands were like a dream for an artist who makes statues. But now these hands are old. These hands are old and full of furrows. They have turned feeble. They have wrinkles. That these hands now have wrinkles, and these have turned to be old now. So she says that although these hands are now feeble, these hands are now old and full of furrows. Yet these hands are most beautiful to me. Yet I love them most. Yet they are so valuable for me. Such beautiful, beautiful hands, though hurt were weary and sad, these patient hands kept toiling on, that the children might be glad. In these lines, poetess says, although the heart of my mother was weary and sad. Weary means tired, and sad means gloomy. Although the heart of my mother was tired and gloomy and sad, but these patient hands kept toiling on. Means they kept working, they kept hard working, they kept working hard in order to make her children happy, in order to make her children glad. I almost weep when looking back to childhood's distant day. I think that how these hands rested not when mine were at their play. Now in these lines, poetess says that she almost weeps, she almost cries whenever she recalls the childhood days, whenever she recalls the past time, whenever she recalls the childhood when these hands kept working hard. When she means when her kid, when her child was busy in playing, when the hands of the poetess were busy in playing games, the hands of a mother were busy working hard for in order to make her child happy and glad. Such beautiful, beautiful hands, they are growing feeble now, and time and pain have left their mark on hand, on heart, and brow. Now in these lines she is expressing her grief. She is mourning something like that. Now these hands are growing feeble, now these hands are turning to be weak and aged ones. So she is very sad. She is very upset to think that day by day these hands are growing weak. These hands are growing weak and old, and the signs of aging. And the signs of aging, can be seen on heart, on hand, and on her forehead. Alas, alas, the nearing time, and the sad, sad day to me, when 'neath the daisies out of sight, these hands must folded be. In these lines, poetess, expresses her, grief, immense matter of grief, that she thinks that the time is near, the day is near when her mother is going to pass away, when her mother is going to die. Beneath the daisies means out of sight these hands must folded be, means under the yellow flowers these hands will be folded, these hands will be tied, and she will be buried. In these lines she expresses her grief, and she says that these beautiful hands would be folded and buried in grave under the daisy flowers. But oh, beyond the shadowy lands, where all is bright and fair, I know full when these dear old hands will palms of victory bear. Now these lines turn out to be optimistic ones. There is some hope of reunion of a child with her mother, a reunion in a world which is which is beyond this one, which is beyond materialistic world. So she says in coming world, in coming life means in afterlife, where everything would be fair, everything would be beautiful, everything would be bright, and these hands, these beautiful hands of my mother, will bear the palm, will palms of victory bear, means will be the victorious. These hands will be the victorious in afterlife. When crystal streams through endless years flow over golden sands, and where the old are young again, I will clasp my mother's hand. Now these the ending lines of this poem show an utter optimistic viewpoint of a poetess, that she says that in afterlife when the old are young again, old people become young again. When crystal streams means when transparent rivers will flow over the golden sands, and the old people will become young again, and there I will clasp my mother's hand, means where I will behold the hands of my mother into my hands, and there will be reunion of a child with his. So she is quite optimistic and quite hopeful that there she will meet her mother and hold her hands in her own hands. So that's all for now. This was one of the beautiful poems written by Ellen M. H. Gates that we read today. Inshallah, in our next lecture, we will do another topic. Till then, Allah Hafiz.